Okay, so 1969. Humanity walks on the moon. A giant leap, right? Or was it? For decades, people have been asking that exact question. Was the moon landing real, or was it maybe the greatest hoax ever pulled off? We're going to get into it and really try to separate fact from fiction here.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? Is this our greatest achievement or our biggest lie? One side says it's the peak of human ingenuity. The other, just a really, really well-made movie. So, you know what? Let's play detective. We'll look at the evidence from every angle and see where it leads us.
You know, the arguments for a hoax usually circle back to a few key things that, honestly, do look a little weird when you first see them. Like, why are there no stars in the pictures? And why does the flag look like it's waving? The shadows are all over the place. And don't even get me started on the tech. Your phone has way more power. Okay, let's break these down one by one.
All right, first up, let's tackle the biggest claims from the hoax side. We're going to look at what people say is the proof and see if it holds up.
Okay, this is the big one. The one you hear all the time. There are no stars. And it makes sense to ask. Space is full of stars. So why is the sky in every single photo just black? It definitely makes you go,
Well, it really just boils down to basic photography 101. Think about it. The moon's surface is lit by the full, unfiltered sun. It's blindingly bright. The astronaut suits, super bright white. So to take a picture that isn't just a big white blur, you have to use a really fast shutter speed and a tiny aperture. And those settings are great for the bright stuff in the foreground, but they're just not going to pick up the faint light from distant stars. It's exactly like trying to take a picture of the stars during the day here on Earth. You can't see them, but you know they're still there.
And here's the other classic you always see, the waving flag. Come on, there's no wind on the moon, right? We all know that. So how is that flag fluttering? It sure looks like a nice breeze is blowing through it, which, shouldn't be happening in a vacuum.
So this is a cool little physics lesson. It's all about inertia. See, the flag isn't waving in the wind. It's rippling because the astronauts were literally twisting and shoving the flagpole into the ground. Here on Earth, the air around us would stop that motion almost immediately. But up there, in a vacuum, there's nothing to slow it down. So any little ripple or wrinkle from being unpacked and set up just keeps on going for a while.
All right, let's talk shadows. This is a big one for skeptics. They look at the pictures and say, hang on, those shadows aren't parallel. That means there must have been multiple lights, like in a movie studio, not just one big sun. And you look at the photos, and yeah, they do look a little funky.
But here's the thing people forget. The moon isn't a flat studio floor. It's bumpy. It's got craters and hills and dust, and all of that reflects light in weird ways. The ground itself is uneven, so shadows are going to follow the dips and rises of the landscape. From the camera's angle, it makes them look like they're going in different directions. It's just an optical illusion, not a big Hollywood conspiracy.
Okay, so we've looked at some of the biggest gotcha questions. Now let's flip the script. Instead of asking if it was easy to fake, let's look at what it actually took to do it. Because honestly, pulling this off for real was probably one of the most ridiculously complex things humanity has ever attempted.
First, you got to get there. And for that, you need the Saturn V. To this day, it is the most powerful rocket we've ever built. We're talking about a machine that was 110 meters tall. That's not just a rocket, that's basically a skyscraper that we pointed at the sky and lit the fuse on.
And to get that thing moving, this monster chewed through almost 13 times tons of fuel. Not per minute, not per hour, per second, just at liftoff. I mean, try to even wrap your head around that kind of power. And all that incredible force was needed to hit escape velocity. We're talking about a top speed of around 39,000 kilometers per hour. You have to go that fast just to break free from Earth's pull and begin that long, long trip to the moon.
So how did they find their way? There was no Google Maps, no GPS. They had to use this amazing mix of old and new. They had a groundbreaking onboard computer, sure, and they had mission control back on Earth tracking them constantly. But, and this is the coolest part, they also used the stars. Literally, like ancient sailors, using tools to measure angles and navigate through the cosmos. How wild is that? People also point to the lunar module and say it looks flimsy, like it's made of tinfoil and tape. And yeah, it does look weird, but that's because it was designed for one thing and one thing only, to fly in a vacuum. It didn't need to be sleek or aerodynamic because it never had to deal with wind. It's a perfect example of pure function over form, built just for that specific alien environment.
Okay, so we've poked holes in the hoax theories, but what about the proof that it actually happened?
Let's look at the hard evidence, the stuff that really closes the case. First off, the souvenirs. The astronauts didn't come back empty-handed. They brought back 382 kilograms of moon rocks. That's over 800 pounds of physical stuff from another world.
And here's the crucial part. NASA didn't just hide these rocks in a vault. They sent samples to scientists all over the globe, including, get this, their biggest rivals in the Soviet Union. And every single lab, friend or foe, came to the same conclusion. These rocks are ancient, they formed with no oxygen or water, and they are absolutely 100% not from Earth.
And it's not just what they brought back, it's what they left behind. They set up these special mirrors on the surface. We call them retroreflectors. And to this day, scientists on Earth can shoot a laser at them and measure the exact distance to the moon. You can do it right now. Better yet, our modern satellites, like the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, have taken crystal clear pictures of the landing sites. You can literally see the landers, the rovers, the scientific equipment. You can even see the astronauts' footprints, still there after all these years.
But for me, maybe the single most powerful piece of evidence has nothing to do with science. Think about the time. This was the peak of the Cold War. The Soviet Union was watching America's every move. They had the means, the motive, everything they needed to call them out if it was a fake. Can you imagine the propaganda victory? It would have been the biggest I told you so in history. But they never said a word. Why? Because they were tracking the missions. They knew it was real.
Okay, but this brings up the obvious question, right? If we went then, why haven't we been back? It's been over 50 years. The simple answer isn't that we can't, it's that it comes down to money and motivation.
Back in the 60s, the Apollo program cost around $25 billion. Adjusted for inflation, that's way over $150 billion today. The whole point was to beat the Soviets to the moon. Once that was done, the political will just evaporated. The public and the politicians lost interest. It was way easier and cheaper to fund things like the Space Shuttle, the International Space Station, and all the amazing robotic missions we've sent out since.
So when you strip away all the doubts and the theories, what are you left with? A story that's actually more incredible than any hoax. Let's just put this all in perspective for a second.
Think about this. In 1903, the Wright brothers get a plane in the air for a few seconds. Just 66 years later, that's less than one person's lifetime, we were walking on the moon. From a short hop on a beach to footprints on another world in 66 years. That pace of innovation is just mind-blowing.
So when you get right down to it, maybe the question isn't, did we fake the moon landing? Maybe the real question is, have we forgotten what we can do when we really try? Because in questioning this amazing achievement, maybe we've started to underestimate ourselves. It was real, it happened, and it's a powerful reminder that when we have a clear, ambitious goal, there's really nothing we can't do. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's our next giant leap?